Hey everybody, it's Mike Marko speaking, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to keep people on your webpage for longer periods of time. Okay, so there's a lot of advantages to having people on your webpage longer. First of all, you have more eyes on it longer. Google likes it when people are on your webpage longer. And also, too, if they're on it longer, there's a better chance they're going to click one of your ads and possibly get onto your mailing list. And then from there, you have leads for possible sales. All goodness, right? So what we need to do is take a look and see, first of all, what is your bounce rate? Okay, bounce rate is how often people are getting to your webpage and realizing quickly this is not the stuff they want and bouncing off. So what you need to do for that is set yourself up with Google Analytics, and then once that within a day or two after you get it set up on your webpage, then you can be able to see exactly how many people are visiting your webpage and what the web bounce rate is. Now, the higher the number of the bounce rate, the worse it is. So if you have something like 70% bounce rate, that means that 70% of the people getting to your webpage are bouncing off right away, because what they're finding is not of interest to them. Now, there's lots of ways to get people on your webpage longer. One of the ways is to write longer blogs. Okay. Now, I read recently that the ideal blog length based on research is about 1,400 words. Now, that is quite a bit of a blog space, and that's a lot of articles to write, especially if you're going to write on a regular basis, like every day, like I do. So I would probably lean towards more 800 to 1,000 words for a blog post, get them on there longer. And if you're going to write maybe in 500 words, maybe supplement it with a video, because videos are another way, a good way to keep people on your blog longer, because if you create a 3 to 4 minute video, they're obviously going to possibly watch it and then watch it to the end. Okay, so you can imagine how that's going to help you and reduce the bounce rate you have, and also the time on page, which is also another very good piece of analytical data you're going to get from Google Analytics. Now, another thing to do too is when you start off writing, right at the very beginning, start writing as if you're writing to one person. Okay? If you start having that kind of connection when you're writing, people are going to want to read it more. Okay? So you write as if you're writing to your audience. Now, we've talked about avatars before, and we're going to create another avatar video here soon, so stay tuned and look for it. But really what you want to do is get to know your audience and be able to connect with them, and they're going to want to read your blog longer, again, which will help with your bounce rate. Another thing you do too is have larger font. Okay, if you're finding people are struggling to read your blog post because the font is too small, it's another thing they're going to do is going to bounce right off. So what you need to do is keep that, keep the font a little bit larger, so more people are going to read it easier. Another thing I like to do too is break up the text. Don't have large paragraphs. Large paragraphs, it's almost certainty people are going to see that and going to bounce right away because they're going to get intimidated by how much reading there is. Break it up with shorter paragraphs, more concise sentences, and even break it up with an illustration or two, some kind of eye candy to keep people on the page longer. Okay, so now we've already talked about having a longer blogs, having the text all broken up, talking as if you're talking to a person, and really keep it focused. Okay, keep it focused to your target audience. And one more tip I want to suggest, and this is something I just heard about when I was reading probably about a day ago, was to give an estimate for the time expected to read the blog post. What that does is sets up the expectation. So before they even get to your blog post, if you have a link to it, suggested reading time is X amount of minutes. That way, before they even get to the blog post, they have an expectation that they're not going to go get to it, bounce away because it wasn't what they were expecting with regards to the length. So if you had written a really long blog post and they only want to glance through something, you set that expectation, and it helps make sure your bounce rate is lower because they already knew what to expect before they got there. Okay, so I hope these tips help, and happy blogging. Take care, everybody. Bye.